Welcome to another Friday live session where I'm going to share with you my best tips to help you prepare for the IELTS exam. And today we're going to talk about how you can improve your vocabulary so that vocabulary won't be a problem when it comes to the IELTS exam. So before we get started, I just want to welcome you. If you're watching on Facebook or whether you're watching on YouTube, I just want to say hello and let you know that as I go through this session today, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer your questions. If you're watching on a replay, feel free to do the same and I will check the comments and answer as best I can. I want you to know that you can contact me at any time. In the comments on YouTube, you'll find my email address, or you can just put a comment on YouTube, and the same with Facebook, because it is my mission to help you get the score you need on the IELTS exam and help you every step of the way as you prepare to do that. So today, we're going to talk about how you can improve your vocabulary, what you need to know about having the best use of your vocabulary on the IELTS exam. And I say that carefully. It's the best use of your vocabulary. Because I want to start out with just sharing with you that I think there's a mistake that a lot of IELTS candidates have when it comes to preparing for the IELTS exam. And that's thinking that you need a lot of fancy or special academic vocabulary and to be able to use this special vocabulary to impress the examiner in your IELTS exam, especially in the writing and the reading sections. It's also important to improve your vocabulary when it comes to listening and reading, so you can identify the vocabulary that you need to answer the questions. But again, the mistake is thinking that you have to know a lot of special words or academic words. Let me just, before we get started, because I am going to share with you in just a moment the very best way that I've discovered and I've seen work for a lot of students. I'm going to share with you the best way to improve your vocabulary. But I want to tell you one thing about the IELTS exam before we get started, and that's if you're doing the academic IELTS exam. If you don't need a lot of academic vocabulary, why is it called academic? It's not called academic because of the content of the test. It's called academic because this is your goal for after you finish the test. And let me tell you what I mean. The common topics in the IELTS exam are not academic topics. They're topics that you would speak about in your daily life and use your English to talk about in your everyday, daily routine and your daily interactions with other people. The topics that are common to IELTS are things like your family, things like diet or nutrition, education and employment, the weather and climate, transportation. These are the kinds of topics that are common in the IELTS exam, and they're common everyday topics. So as I share with you how to improve your vocabulary, I'm going to share with you how you can best improve your vocabulary for common everyday topics, the topics that you'll find on the IELTS exam. So let's get started with how to improve your vocabulary for the IELTS exam. Again, the first thing to realize is that you don't need special or fancy word lists, academic word lists, or memorizing the dictionary. Here's the problem with that. First of all, the IELTS exam is a measure of your English language ability, and that's your English language ability, your language, your vocabulary, the vocabulary that you can use to the best of your ability. When you begin to start trying to memorize academic word lists or try to come up with some special or fancy words, this creates a problem. There's a real danger here. And that is that you may learn these very special words, these academic words, but you're not confident and comfortable using them. You don't know how to use them. I'll give you an example. For example, let's say I wanted to be a good guitar player. Now, what it really takes is for me to get a guitar, any guitar, and start practicing and learning how to play the guitar. But it's not going to do me any good to go out and buy the very best top of the line guitar just to say that I have a good guitar and I have an expensive guitar, a fancy guitar, but not know how to use it. So having fancy vocabulary and a huge academic word list is not going to improve the way that you use your vocabulary, and it's not going to improve your performance on the IELTS exam when it comes to speaking or when it comes to writing. It's certainly not going to be any help when it comes to identifying the information you need in the reading test or identifying key words that you need for answering questions in the listening test. So let's just get this idea out of our head right away that you need some special fancy words or an academic word list. The best place is to start with the words that you already know. If you have the level of English required for the IELTS exam, and that's a high intermediate to advanced level of English, you already have a good vocabulary. And in this bag of this vocabulary, you have what I call your own bag of words. There are hundreds of thousands of words in the English language. And a well-educated native English language speaker will probably use 20 to 30,000 words. That's maybe a little bit high, but they'll have a native English language speaker will have about 20 to 30,000 words at their disposal. But even out of this 20 or 30,000 words that they may have in their bag of vocabulary, even a guy like me who speaks English every day, I am well educated, I've been speaking English all my life, I probably use on a daily basis less than 10,000 words regularly. But I can express myself clearly, I can talk about any subject because I use my own vocabulary. So you have your own bag of vocabulary, and this is where you want to draw from as you seek to improve your vocabulary for the IELTS exam. So it's all about starting with the words that you already know and being able to use them as effectively as possible to express yourself and identify important information in the IELTS exam. And if you have that high intermediate to advanced level of English, I can promise you, you already know enough vocabulary, but you can still improve it. And that's what I'm going to share with you in this lesson. First of all, it starts off simply. What you want to do is just buy yourself a notebook and develop the routine of writing in your notebook every day, sharing your ideas, sharing your thoughts, sharing your feelings about the things that happen and the things you come across in your daily experience. Talk about your day at school. or your day at work. Write about something that's happened in your family. You can even write about how how you travel to work, whether you went by train or a bus, or you can write about uh, a restaurant that you went to and how you enjoyed the meal. These are the kinds of things that are common to the IELTS exam, especially in the speaking section. But what's important is that you know how to use your vocabulary to express your ideas, express your thoughts, and your feelings. I'll give you an example from the IELTS exam. In writing task 2, you're asked to write a 250-word essay. And the topic may again be anything about education, the internet, employment, diet, nutrition, climate change. But the one part of the task of writing task 2 that is a part of every essay you have to write is to share examples from your own life and experience. And I can guarantee you, if you've developed the daily habit of just taking a few minutes a day and develop this routine of writing your ideas, your thoughts, and your feelings about these common everyday occurrences, you will have all the resources that you need to write effectively in writing task 2 in the IELTS exam. It'll be especially true in the speaking section because you'll have these experiences. You'll already be comfortable and confident sharing your ideas because in the speaking section, you are actually the topic and it's all about this, sharing your ideas, thoughts, and feelings. So get into the habit of feeling confident, writing every day, and sharing these ideas. And your vocabulary will come out. You'll start drawing from that bag of vocabulary that you already have and begin using the words that you already know very effectively, but also confidently and comfortably. And then what you can do is begin to start using the words that you already know in different ways. So instead of focusing on a dictionary or an academic word list, start learning synonyms. These are words that mean the same thing as words that you already know. And one of the things that will happen as you go to a thesaurus or a list of words that are synonyms for the words that you already know, you'll discover that most of the synonyms are already in your bag of vocabulary. They're words you're already familiar with. Maybe you just haven't thought of using them. So what I suggest you do is if you discover as you're writing in your daily journal, in your daily routine of writing, if you discover that there are words that you seem to use more frequently than others, or words that seem to be repetitive, identify these words and go to a thesaurus. And I'm going to be sharing a great resource with you towards the end of this lesson for you to be able to do this. Go and check the synonyms for the words that you seem to use repetitively. And this will give you other options so that when you do write and when you do speak, you'll start using a wider variety of vocabulary. And the way that I think of this is think of your bag of vocabulary. You tend to use the words, when you open your bag of vocabulary, you tend to use the words that are near the top. And all this means when you look at synonyms and when you start identifying synonyms is you're just reaching a little deeper into that bag. The words are there. They're there for you to use. They're words that you know, but maybe you just need to bring them out of the bag a little more often and use them more frequently. So one of the ways that you can just boost your vocabulary is taking the words that you already know and learn to use them in different ways. And this will go a long way to improving your score and your ability to express yourself in the IELTS exam. Another way that you can expand the way that you use the words that you already know is to use different word forms. For example, if you can see on the slide, in my Facebook group, I post these weekly to give you different ideas of different word forms to boost and expand your vocabulary. For example, we have the word environment. Environment is a noun, and it's probably a word that you're very familiar with. But you can also use it as an adjective. For example, environmental. Okay, so what you want to do is just take words that you already know, and if you use it frequently as a noun, ask yourself, is there a way that you can use it as a verb or as an adjective or as an adverb? It's the same word, but you're using it in different forms, in different places in a sentence. Let me give you some examples. Let's just take the word act. We must act to protect the environment. And I'm sure that's a sentence that any of you could express quite simply. And we're using the word act as a verb. But we could also say we have to take action to be environmentally responsible. So now we've taken that word act and we've used it as a noun. And you can see another example in this sentence. We must act to protect the environment. The environment is a noun. Or we have to take action to be environmentally responsible. So now we're using it as an adverb. So you can see just by not adding new words, not adding fancy or academic words, we're expanding our capacity. We're becoming more capable of using the same vocabulary in different ways, and we have a good use of our English language because we can express ourselves in a variety of different ways. And this is one of the best ways to improve your vocabulary. So first of all, just think of synonyms for the words that you already know. And then think of different word forms for the words that you already know. So just identify those words that you seem to use repetitively or too frequently, and just learn a different word form and a different way to use them. And what this does is suddenly you've improved your ability to paraphrase. Paraphrasing is so important and a very important part of vocabulary development. Not only does it improve your writing and speaking ability, but it will also improve your ability to identify key information in the reading sections and the listening section of the IELTS exam. Because you know when you listen to a recording in the listening section, you've looked at the questions ahead of time, and you know that the words that you see in the questions are not going to come out exactly the same way in the recording. So you want to be able to identify these different word forms and synonyms and be able to be aware of paraphrasing. And the same is true in the reading section. So by improving your vocabulary with the method that I'm sharing with you today, it's going to go a long way to improving your score on the IELTS exam. And then if you do want to start adding new words, you can add 2 or 3 words each week. But add them naturally. Add them through immersion. Okay, add them through the things that come up in your everyday life. So as you're watching TV, as you're reading magazines or listening to podcasts or going on the internet, if you see a new word that you kind of understand, and it seems like a word that you could add to your vocabulary and really make use of it, then add it. But don't add any more than 2 or 3 new words each week. Again, please don't think the secret is to memorizing long lists of words, academic lists, because what you'll have is a lot of words, but you won't be able to use them efficiently or effectively. So it all starts with getting that notebook and just learning to share your ideas and your thoughts and feelings in your own words. And then as you see words that seem to be repetitive and that you use too frequently, just start looking for synonyms for these words. And then the next step is you can begin to use these same words in different word forms. And only add words to your vocabulary as they come into your conversations and your experience and your reading and your writing naturally by immersion. So please don't go looking for special fancy academic words. This is not the key to improving your vocabulary. You already have the resources you need if you're at that advanced or that high intermediate level of English, which you need to be before you even consider taking the IELTS exam. After all, it is a test of your English language ability, the level of English that's required for university or the profession of your choice. So keep improving your English, but use the vocabulary that you already know and expand that vocabulary. Don't keep trying to throw new words into your bag and overflow your bag of vocabulary just to say you have a lot of words. It will not help you with the IELTS exam. When you go into the IELTS exam, and this is really my mission for you and my hope for you and why I'm here. The day of your test, you should feel totally confident, competent, and comfortable. You should feel that you are approaching test day without the stress and anxiety that comes with exams, because it doesn't have to be that way. I'm not saying the IELTS exam is easy, but you can approach it simply by developing your vocabulary naturally and effectively and using the method that I've shared with you. And the good news is, all it takes is a few minutes every day. And here's a great tool that you can use, and I've saved the best for last. There's a website called WordHippo, wordhippo.com. Okay. And I want to share this website with you. I want you to, maybe as soon as you finish watching this video, go and check out this website, because you can type in any word, one of the words that you know, and you can find synonyms and antonyms. You can find the different word forms. You can see what it looks like as a verb, a noun, an adjective, or an adverb. You can see it in the context of a sentence. This is one of the best websites you'll find for improving your vocabulary. Don't let the pink hippo cartoon confuse you or make you think that it's not a great website. This is an amazing website. It's the best I've seen for improving your vocabulary. I've put the link in the comments, and I would really encourage you to check out this website and try, and maybe after you've checked out this website, maybe the next step is for you to go down to the corner store and get yourself a notebook and begin to improve your vocabulary. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any comments or questions, don't hesitate to ask, and don't hesitate to reach out to me at any time for any kind of help that you're looking for in the IELTS exam, because that's my mission. That's why I'm here, is to help you get the score you need on the IELTS exam and to get into that university you've always dreamed of, to go to the country of your choice, and to find the life that you've always wanted. So I want to wish you all the best on your journey as you continue to prepare for the IELTS exam and the future that lies ahead for you. All the best.